Santham Academy. Welcome to Digital Kaksha. To get updates on new videos, click the subscribe button and the bell icon.
Good morning, students. Today we have to start the new chapter, that is chapter 2, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. We have studied in chapter 1 about reproduction in organisms. So this chapter is the continuation of the first chapter. So we will here be studying about different events in sexual reproduction in a flowering plant. You all know that flowering plants, they come under the group of angiosperms. Angiosperms, as they are the flowering plants, flowers are considered as the reproductive organs of the plant. Sexual reproduction means here the formation and fusion of gametes occur for the formation of a zygote. The zygote will be forming the new individual. So in this chapter we will be dealing with different events which are involved in the sexual reproduction of flowering plants. So to start with, you all know that the flowers are the reproductive organs of the plants, especially the angiosperm group. So flowers are the reproductive organs, and these organs or these flowers, they may be unisexual or bisexual. You all are familiar with the term unisexual and bisexual. Unisexual flowers means that the flower will be possessing either one of the sex organ, either the male sex organ or the female sex organ. So such flowers, they are called as unisexual flowers. Second is bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers, they possess both the reproductive organs, that is the male reproductive organ and the female reproductive organ. So the flowers may be of two types depending upon the species. They may be unisexual or they may be bisexual. Second thing is that the plants which bear unisexual flowers, they are called as dioecious plant. Di means two. The male and female plants, they are different or they are separate. The unisexual flowers, they are being born on the dioecious plant. The male and female gametes are being formed in different plants. Second is bisexual. The plants which bear bisexual flowers, that plants are called as the monoecious plant. Means in a single plant, both the types are present, means the male as well as the female reproductive organs are present. So, flowers may be unisexual or bisexual. The plants bearing unisexual flowers, they are called as dioecious plant, and the plants bearing bisexual flowers, they are called as the monoecious plants. So, you all know that flowers, they are the reproductive organs. They are involved in the process of sexual reproduction, that is the formation and fusion of the gametes. Now, moving to the structure of the flower. We have to recall the structure of the flower as you are studying the structure from many earlier classes. In 10th also you have studied the detailed structure of the flower. Same thing we will be recalling here. So here I have drawn the diagram of a bisexual flower. So here you can see that the stalk of the flower is called as the pedicel. The stalk of the flower is called as the pedicel, by which the flower is attached to the branch. So the stalk of the flower is called as pedicel, and just above the pedicel you can see a bulgy structure that is called as the thalamus or the receptacle. Above the pedicel or above the stalk, a bulgy structure or a bulgy mass is there, that is called as thalamus or receptacle. Above the thalamus or receptacle, all the floral appendages are present. So just you can see that above the thalamus or on the top of this thalamus, all the floral appendages or all the parts or components of the flower are present. So before going to the different components or the different structures in the flower, we will study it in two parts. The flower can be studied by dividing it into accessory organs and essential organs. Now, I would like to tell you what are these accessory organs and what are the essential organs. Accessory organs are those organs which are not directly involved in the process of sexual reproduction. They help in the process or they support in the process of sexual reproduction. So they are termed as accessory organs. Second is essential organs. Essential organs are those organs which are directly involved in the process of sexual reproduction, that is the formation of the gametes. So the essential organs, they are directly involved in the process of sexual reproduction as they are involved in the formation of the male and female gamete. Now we can see accessory organs, there are two, calyx and corolla. Here you can see at the bottom of the thalamus two green colored small leafy structure. These two green colored small leafy structure, they are called as sepals. The green colored small leafy structure, they are called as sepals, and the sepals, they form the calyx, as calyx is an accessory organ. Second, you can see corolla. Here you can see the brightly colored part of the flower. The brightly colored part of the flower, that are called as the petals. The petals together form the corolla. So the two accessory organs are calyx and corolla. The calyx are being formed of the sepals, which are small leafy part below the thalamus, and petals, they are the colored parts of the flower which together form the corolla. So the accessory organs are calyx and corolla. Now coming to the essential organs. The essential organs means the organs which are involved in the process of sexual reproduction by the formation of the male and female gamete. Now here, the male reproductive unit of the flower is androecium. The male reproductive unit of the flower is called androecium, and androecium are made up of stamens. And the female reproductive unit of the flower is gynoecium, and the gynoecium is made up of carpels or pistils. So the essential organs are androecium and gynoecium. Androecium are the male reproductive organs or the male reproductive units, while gynoecium is the female reproductive unit. So now moving to the androecium. Here you can see I have used green colored chalk for the androecium. The androecium is made up of number of stamens, and each stamen is made up of two parts. You can see the elongated stalk-like structure called as the filament and a knob-like structure at the top of the filament called as the anther. And these anther, they contain the pollen grains, and the pollen grains, they have the male gametes. So androecium is made up of stamens, and each stamen is made up of elongated filament and a knob-like anther. Anther and filament together constitute the stamen. Okay. Now moving to the gynoecium or the female reproductive part of the flower. So the gynoecium is made up of carpels or pistils. Now here at the center you can see the yellow colored part which I have drawn, that is a structure of a single carpel or a pistil. Now here you can see that the carpel, each carpel is made up of three parts. The upper knob-like structure, that is called as stigma. The elongated structure in the middle, that is called as style, and the rounded basal part, that is called as the ovary. Okay, so the stigma, style and ovary together form the carpel, and the carpels, they form the female reproductive part, that is the gynoecium. So I think you have understood all the parts of the flower, the accessory organs and the essential organs. Accessory organs which help in the process of sexual reproduction, that is the calyx and corolla. The essential organs which are directly involved in the process of sexual reproduction, that is androecium, which is the male reproductive unit made up of the stamens made up of anther and filament. And second, gynoecium, which is the female reproductive unit made up of carpels, and each carpel is made up of stigma, style and ovary. So, this was about the structure of a bisexual flower. Now, we have to start with the main events of the sexual reproduction. We have studied in the last chapter that there are 3 events in sexual reproduction. The 3 events here, you can see the number 1 is the pre-fertilization events. The events which occur before the fertilization process or before the fusion process. Next is the fertilization event, the main event in which the male and female gamete, they fuse with each other. Third is the post-fertilization events which occurs after the process of fertilization. So, in sexual reproduction, whether it is plants, whether it is animals or whether it is human beings, all the events, they remain the same. The pre-fertilization events, the post-fertilization events and the main, that is the fertilization event. So, here in flowering plants also, we have to start with the first event, that is the pre-fertilization event. In pre-fertilization events, 2 sub-events are there. Number 1 is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis means the formation of gametes. That means the formation of the male gamete as well as the female gamete. So these things are being covered in gametogenesis. Second event in the pre-fertilization is gamete transfer. After the gametes are being formed, the male gamete need to be transferred to the female gamete for the process of fertilization. So that process is called as gamete transfer. So here we will be first starting with gametogenesis, that is the formation, fusion and formation of the male and female gametes. So starting with the first thing, that is gametogenesis. Now, you know that 2 types of gametes need to be formed, that is number 1 the male gamete and number 2 is the female gamete. So before going to that, we need to know what is a male gametophyte or a female gametophyte. Gametophyte is that part of the plant which have the male gamete or which have the female gamete, or where the male and female gametes are being formed. Okay, so the formation of male gametophyte. So in case of flowering plants, the male gametophyte is the pollen grains, and these pollen grains, they contain the male gametes. So here, starting with the first thing, the formation of male gametophyte, that is the pollen grains. Okay. Now, as we know that the male reproductive unit is androecium, and androecium made up of stamens. Stamens have got anthers and filaments, but inside the anthers, the pollen grains are present. So, the pollen grains, they contain the male gamete. So, the pollen grains are the male gametophyte. So, the pollen grains, they are the male gametophyte. So, to study how these pollen grains are being formed inside the anther, first we have to deal with the detailed structure of the anther. Here you can see this is structure of filament I have drawn. This is structure of stamen, sorry, I have drawn. This is the filament, and here you can see the knob-like structure, that is the anther. Now, the stalk-like structure is called as the filament and the knob-like structure is called as the anther. In case of angiosperms, the anther, it is bilobed. That means it consists of two lobes. So in most of the angiosperms, the anther consists of two lobes. So that's why it is called as bilobed anther. And the two lobes of the anther, they are connected at the back by a tissue called as the connective. And this tissue is sterile in nature. So the stamen consists of anther and filament, and the anther is of the angiosperms are made up of two lobes. So it is a bilobed anther, and the two lobes of the anther, they are connected to each other by a sterile tissue called as the connective. Now, if we cut the transverse section of the anther, if we cut the transverse section of the anther, this part will be exposed. So, this is the structure of the transverse section of the anther. Here you can see that these are the two lobes of the anther. So, it is a bilobed structure. And each lobe of the anther is again divided into two compartments called as the theca. So, a single lobe of anther has got two theca, so that is dithecus. So, a single lobe of the anther has got two theca, so that is dithecus. So, here 4 lobes will be there overall in the anther, so it will be tetrathecus. A single lobe will be dithecus, while the overall anther will be tetrathecus. So here you can see the two thecas are there, and the two thecas, they are separated by a line of dehiscence. This is the line of dehiscence. Both sides you can see that between the two theca, the line of dehiscence is there. This line of dehiscence has got importance when the anther matures and it dries up. As the anther matures and dries up, it contains the mature pollen grains. So these mature pollen grains will be dispersed. They only will be dispersed when this tissue will be loosened. So that's why the tissue loosens by this line. So that is called as the line of dehiscence. So as the line of dehiscence is being loosened, the pollen grains, they are dispersed. Okay, so here each anther is bilobed and each lobe is dithecus containing two compartments. Now inside the theca, the part is there which is involved in the formation of the pollen grains. So that part is called as microsporangium or pollen sacs. So the part of the theca which is involved in the formation of the pollen grains, they are called as microsporangium or pollen sacs. So there are 4 microsporangium. So there are 4 microsporangium, 2 in one theca and 2 in the other theca. So in this way, in the center you can see yellow colored pollen grains are being formed. So this is the transverse section of the anther. Inside the pollen sac or microsporangia, the pollen grains are being formed. Now we have to start with the detailed study of this part of the anther. Means what are the different types of cells which are present in this part. So that will be dealt in the next topic, that is the enlarged view of the microsporangium, in which we will be studying the different layers of microsporangium and about the cells which are involved in the formation of the pollen grains.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more.